Oh, speaking of that, like if we want to get off something quite so heavy and onto something a little funnier. So that Garcia guy that they said they were in, they got into all the immigration trouble, the fake MS-13 member and everything. They are sending him to basically what his lawyer did was they gave a list of countries that he quote unquote feared to be sent to, so or he'd be tortured and murdered, and they just like went through a fucking atlas or something and picked every country, but they forgot about this little known Central African country called Escrita or something like that. I'm getting that wrong, but that's where apparently they're talking about sending him now, some tiny landlocked African nation that his lawyer didn't put on the list.
What we let people pick what country they want to go to when they break in and then get sent.
No, we let them like legally say, hey, if you send me to,
they're like pitchers. They can have teams they don't want to go to.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what he's done. But he listed like every country under the sun, but he forgot about this country because I'd never heard of it before. And when you Google image it, you see tribes people. Like it's not where he wants to go.
He should be positive about it. He could be like, you know what? I might be I'm short in America, but I might be the tallest guy in Eswatini. Maybe maybe I become the Grand Poobah, the big Mamu in Eswatini on the largest throne. I have no idea. I wouldn't want to go to Eswatini. This shit probably sucks. How many people live there? 1.243 million. I'd never even heard of Eswatini.
Neither
is this one of those African countries that like just popped up? Because sometimes that happens, but or has it been around for a while?
It's probably. I think it used to be called. Was it Swaziland before? It's one of those places that's had multiple names. I think I did some research 2 weeks ago and I've forgotten all of it.
Everything I've heard about Swaziland is it's absolutely horrible. So that's which sucks because it's such a whimsical name. Welcome to Swaziland. You are going to want to leave.
I think as like a dude, like even a white dude, I think there's some of those African countries where you could go and like have a blast, live like a king. But I don't know if Swaziland is amongst them. You know, I think I'd want to go to Morocco or South Africa, somewhere like that.
I would want to go to, I'm just scrolling around the globe.
Nigeria.
No, somewhere safer and with nicer like beaches.
Is Nigeria not safe?
I would choose. I would want to go to like. I'd want them to deport me to like Greece, maybe Portugal, a beautiful country, and I could just enjoy.
How did Portugal manage to like get that empire going? They're like a landlocked nation next to powerful European powers.
They're not landlocked. Most of their border is coast.
I don't mean landlocked. I mean they don't have.
It's like Portugal landlocked.
They're definitely not landlocked.
It's on the Iberian Peninsula. Yeah.
But they had no room to expand inward where they were. They were surrounded by other countries and then the sea. They had nowhere to expand there, but they ended up with that huge empire. Like Brazil speaks Portuguese. You know what I mean? Like I think that they were the first to, or among the first to go around the Horn of Africa and get access to those Indian spices without having to go through the Mediterranean or whatever and deal with whoever was operating the Strait of Hormuz.
Great sailors. The Portuguese knew what they were doing on the high seas, just like the Brits. But, you know, it is weird too, because you're right. I don't think I've ever in my life had Portuguese food. Is it just Spanish food? But like a tiny bit different.
Were the Japanese good sailors too? Don't you start with a boat and civilization? That's what I'm basing this on.
You do start with a boat and civilization. They didn't expand as much other than going into China and like raiding and stuff like that. Because I know it was who was it? Wasn't it the Portuguese that showed up on Japanese shores first?
Yep.
Why did the Japanese have nowhere to go, but the Portuguese did?
Well, the Japanese repeatedly, where they wanted to go was Korea and China. And so they would go raid and try to conquer Korea and China. What is modern day China and Korea?
They just lacked the ambition to go to North America.
They didn't have what it takes.
They didn't have the sailing technology.
And they also didn't have incredible
boats in the game, Kyle. Don't you know anything?
Not the good ones. They start with a canoe. That thing's got 8 HP, Woody. One shark and the whole siev's gone.
It was as if like Portuguese got to take...
boat.
Yeah, when the Japanese versus Portuguese Navy was like Japan was just starting and Portugal was like on turn 60. And so like they were already there.
Well, we
Like,
saw
hey,
it in that
we're
TV
showing
show we
up.
watched, the Shogun. Shogun was that period of time where the Portuguese had all that power and Catholicism had all that power within Japan because they had cannons and those big, gigantic sail-drawn ships, and the Japanese boats were
I don't think
more
you can
rudimentary.
use fictional stuff like that as the basis of your knowledge.
It's just historical documentary drama.
Come back to me
It's all
when you
true,
have
though.
something by Capcom or
EA, you know,
EA.
real
Yeah, it's in the
historical
game.
group. Yeah.
That's why Europe dominated so hard for so many centuries. Is like nobody else put the points in the Navy tech tree. Is the Brits, the Portuguese, the Spanish, they were like, oh, we leveled up again. What do? Navy. We're locking it into the Navy thing. And so they showed up with like pretty dope ships, and everybody had to be like, oh, fuck. Can you imagine being like an Inca or whatever, an Aztec, and be just like Apocalypto, where they like run to the shore and they see the Conquistadors showing up? That would have to be mind bending. That would be like us seeing an alien ship we couldn't even fathom. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this?
I think Montezuma had been fighting Cortez of the Conquistadors, and they'd had all these battles, and the Spanish had won all of them, and the Spanish were asking for like terms of surrender, and Cortez is like, oh, that wasn't our army you fought. No, those are little fun battles. We were testing you to see if you'd be a worthy ally. Our army is 1.2 million men. We were wondering if you wanted to join with us and fuck up some of these other tribes that we really hate. And Cortez was like, that is the European way. Yes, we would love to do that. And that's what they did. They massacred all those people. Between the smallpox did most of the killing, though, in North and South America. They just couldn't handle our powerful white diseases.
Well, they didn't have all those domesticated animals creating nasty diseases for centuries that Europeans just became accustomed to, where you become kind of immune to it over time, and then you show up anywhere. Yo, what's up, boys? Let's shake your hand. Oh, also, I'm Spanish, which means I do a little cheek kiss when I meet you. And then they get fucking smallpoxed.
I like Europeans, we view ourselves as like the most dominant culture in the world when really our advantage was living in sewage for so long.
It was domestication, you know, like they hadn't mastered that. Now you could argue that they didn't have any good animals to domesticate, and it'd probably be true. I saw some people defending the Africans' non-invention of the wheel and the wheelbarrow.
You sent me that. That's insane.
They always say
tell me more. I didn't.
So Africa never invented the fucking wheel, and their excuse is, well, we don't have any beasts of burden. We didn't have any wagons we didn't have anything to pull the wagons. You can't domesticate zebra, and water buffalo are mean. Fucking hippos don't pull carts, so we didn't have any use for the wheel. And they say, yeah, but what about the fucking wheelbarrow? Because they invented that in China in like the year 100, you know, and Europe got it by like.
Didn't they use like round logs with a board over them to move?
That's I don't think
ancient
they used
Egypt.
that. I know that we don't know what the Egyptians.
Well,
did.
he's talking about sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, I'm talking
not
about
Egypt, Algeria, that region.
Yeah, all those people.
Because that was all Arab back then. I guess it still is mostly Arab, but
yeah, the Zulu didn't have any fucking wheelbarrows.
No, and it's like, brother, no wheels. You must have spent that time making a written language, right? No. Then you
probably got some cool log cabins or something you live in, though.
You guys probably got sick boats, right? No, but you probably have a 2-story building.
Shit. What do y'all got?
What have you guys been up to?
Oh, that's a sick spear you have. Wow, and that shield is that made of cowhide? Wow.
Cowhide. That's awesome. I'm wearing 60 pounds of
bound together with
my colleagues real quick.
Guys, it's gonna be really easy. More easier than you can even fathom. Yeah.
The Native Americans didn't have the wheel either, although they did have toys with wheels on them. But
huge oversight.
But when they, especially the Plains Indians, when they would move, you know, they would follow the buffalo herds throughout their cycle, their migrations and such. They would just pop. That's why they lived in those teepees. They could fold them up and go. But they would use dogs and stuff like that to drag. What are they called? Like skids. It's like two sticks with like, it's like a stretcher, except you hold one end
Like
and
a
the other two
sleigh?
sticks, like a sledge more, like you drag it on the ground. Like
I
imagine a
don't know what a
stretcher.
sledge is outside of the hammer.
No, I think it's also a thing you drag things
It's like a
on.
cart you drag. I feel like you're right. Maybe
A cart you drag.
also
It's kind of
wrong.
what they. That's how I picture like carrying wounded soldiers, right? Like they put them
Exactly
on
that.
sort of a stretcher and
They
drag
would tie
it.
them to dogs, like anything they had to like, and people would drag them too, and like they
Wheels would be
figured out
great for
wheels.
that.
You would think.
It
You
would
know
be,
what? I always see this on Reddit. Like, oh, you're gonna go back in time and teach people modern technology, then you realize you don't really know how batteries work. I got the wheel on fucking lock. I could teach sub-Saharan Africa modern technology like the wheel, the wedge, the screw.
you could teach them the alphabet. You could be like, guys,
Yeah, most
you don't see the use of it now, but recording things is going to be really integral.
Taylor, this is genius. Then my spellings become the real spellings and yours become the wrong ones.
That's true. I would just have to like look at African
You know how that
modern
happened?
spelling and be like, there's a lot of, E's after I's in here.
You know, I think embarrassed needs more R's than this.
You know why our English differs from the English the words like color, for example, where we drop the U?
It's because they're
During-
obstinate and won't move to the right side.
It was during the time of the printing press, I think, over here in the States. We were like, COLOUR? I can save you some money. Like, we just-
Is that the truth?
I'm almost positive that's the truth.
That's a cool bit of lore. I am going to believe you entirely. I'm not looking into this.
Thank
That's
you.
sick. I
I
like
also had that lore last night about the oranges and the color orange. And how,
I have heard that before.
yeah, the color orange is named after the fruit, not the other way around. So there was no word for the color orange other than, there were two, that you would say reddish yellow, or you would say saffron. But I couldn't find any literature examples of the usage of saffron as a color, and I tried hard for 30, 40 seconds.
Well, you put in the due diligence. So, it's okay. Yeah. And then you were like, the color of, or no, I think Chiz was like, saffron is yellow. And you were like, no, it's more orangey. And then we both were linking pictures of saffron that were very, very orangey.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, there's also golden saffron. It's like, this is a picture of golden saffron. It's orange. Like, I think that might be a brand.
Doesn't like losing an argument.